Hey guys, what's up? I'm Justin from MLB Baseball Blogs here with Tim and AC from the Cash Kelly and AC Sports Report, along with Richard for MLB Baseball Blogs. Guys, what's going on for like the 5th time?
What's going on, Justin?
Pretty good. Happy to be here.
Yeah, finally, down to 2 more teams in this countdown. Let's get it going.
Alright,
Let's talk about the key requirements.
Alright, this is like the 5th time we're introducing the Rangers. Last season they made it into the World Series at a 1972 record, beating the Yankees, my favorite team. Let's talk about their pitching. Let's go straight into their pitching. That was a pretty much quick sum up of it. They lost the World Series to the Giants. Let's talk about their pitching. At number 1, C.J. Wilson. Guys, how beast will C.J. Wilson be this season for the squad?
Well, 2 years ago this guy was a semi-closer, and he had a nice transition last year, going 15-8 with a 3.35 ERA. I expect that ERA to go up some as hitters learn his tendencies and everything, but he still should be a good pitcher, but he's not an ace.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think he's a legit number 1. Maybe in the AL West because it's one of the weakest divisions. But like you said, he put up some good stats last year with 15 wins. I don't know if it'll be that high, but I still expect him to have a definite decent season.
Yeah, I like C.J. Wilson a little bit. Coming, like Tim said, he was a setup guy a couple years ago. Now transitioning to a starter. I don't think he might reach 15 wins. I think the ERA will go up a little bit. It's not exactly a nice consolation prize when you have Cliff Lee in the second half of the season as your number 1 guy.
All right, C.J. Wilson of 15-8 last season with a 3.35 ERA and 204 innings pitched. I have him winning 16 games this season, so we'll have to see what we can do with C.J. Wilson. Their number 2 guy, Tommy Hunter. This guy is going on the DL at the start of the season because he tore like a right groin muscle or something like that. Who will be his replacement next season, or for the beginning of the season?
For who?
Tommy Hunter.
I'm not 100% sure. I would think Colby Lewis will just end up being the number 2 starter. Maybe Brandon Webb will be ready for opening day, and he'll slide into that 5th spot. For Tommy Hunter, once he comes back, I believe this guy should have a nice season. He was pretty solid last year, 13-7 with a 3.3 ERA, 3.4, my bad. And he actually proved that he's one of the better young pitchers in baseball.
Yeah, I agree with what Tim said. He's a pretty solid number 3 as it stands right now. Colby Lewis will just be bumped up to the number 2 spot, or wherever he was originally. And, I think his ERA might actually go down as he develops. I don't see why this guy couldn't win even up to 15 games this season. He's a nice number 3.
I like Colby Lewis. I think he's going to improve as he develops. I see 13 or 14 games believable. But to replace Tommy Hunter at the beginning of the season, I think Scott Feldman might take his spot. He has some starting experience. Brandon Webb, I don't know what the deal is with him. So I think Scott Feldman might replace him. But I think Colby Lewis is a pretty solid number 2 guy.
Well, I think that number 2 should be Tommy Hunter because he was great last season, 13-4 with a 3.73 ERA and 128 innings pitched. That guy was just explosive and into the playoffs. So I think when he comes back,
the thing to watch out for is at some point in this season, Natali Feliz could potentially be in the rotation. Even if they're saying right now he won't be, he certainly could end up there.
Alright, let's get into Natali Feliz when we get there too. Alright, on to their number 3 starter, projected starter. We have Colby Lewis. How well will Colby Lewis do this season?
That's a good question. Colby Lewis is a guy, 2 years ago he's in Japan. Last year he pitched the game that sent the Rangers to the World Series. Colby Lewis, to me, I'm not sure if he'll follow up what he did last season. I think the biggest question for Colby Lewis has got to be whether he can keep that ERA right around where it was at last year at 3.72. If he can keep it there, then I think they're in good shape.
Yeah, I agree with that, with Colby Lewis. He did well last season. There's no taking away from that. But he's still got a lot of time to develop in the number 3 position. Like I keep saying, we're talking about the AL West here. So, I mean, you don't need a whole lot of pitching to be successful in this division. But I don't see a problem with Kobe Lewis. I don't see any problems that Kobe Lewis would have this season winning games.
Yeah, I pretty much just explained Kobe Lewis when I last spoke. 13 or 14 wins. He was in Japan. Pretty solid transition back to the major leagues. He's pretty solid number 2, number 3 guy.
All right, like you guys said, he was in Japan last season. I think he's gonna have a great season. Maybe 14 wins this year. So we have to see. Scott Feldman is their next guy in this pitching rotation. He's projected to be the number 4 starter. Is he too low, or should he be up in the rotation a little bit more?
He's right where he's at. I mean, this is a guy who's been on and off between starting and the bullpen, so you shouldn't put too many expectations on this guy. He did not have a good year last year, 7-11 with a 5.48 ERA. He's just going to have to bring the ERA down if the Rangers are going to be successful. But I think the biggest question for the Rangers this year is going to be that pitching, and if that pitching can be just good enough, this lineup should be able to help them through the playoffs.
Yeah, Scott Feldman's where he is at is good, where he should be right now. I don't think you should put him any higher. I definitely don't think you should put him above CJ, or not CJ, Colby Lewis or Tommy Hunter, my bad. But I really don't know a whole lot about Scott Feldman. I'm not going to lie here. Yeah, like you said, he had a 7-11 record last year. Not impressive at all, but I mean, if he stays, if he can win 9 or 10 games this year, I'll consider him a success.
Scott Feldman, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe he was the ace of this Texas rotation a few years back.
That shows you where they were a few years ago. He actually had a good season out of the rotation, though.
Yeah, so I mean, he has some experience. He's a really solid number 4 guy. My predicted rotation personally is C.J. Wilson, Colby Lewis, Matt Harrison, Scott Feldman until Tommy Hunter gets back, and Derek Holland, and probably slide in Scott Feldman over Derek Holland or Matt Harrison, something like that. But I like Scott Feldman a little bit. He's gone down a lot, but like AC said, I think 9 or 10 wins would be really good for a guy like Feldman.
Well, like AC said, I don't know much about Scott Feldman except that the Rangers just killed my Yankees in the ALCS, but that's your guys' prediction on him. On to Brandon Webb. This is a guy I know most of. This guy has not pitched in baseball in about 2 or 3 years, a former Cy Young winner. This guy was thinking about returning last season in late September, but that was not to be. Is Brandon Webb healthy for the opening, for his scheduled start this season?
You know, I'm hearing on and off stuff. I mean, I can't sit here and give you a prediction about Brandon Webb's health. What I can tell you is if he's healthy, then he could pitch as well as winning a Cy Young. If he's not healthy, then don't even bother counting on him.
Yeah, the key for him is obviously staying healthy. If he is healthy, I wouldn't go so far as to say he's going to win a Cy Young or even contend for one. But in the Rangers rotation, he's going to be a good piece. I mean, I'd put him above Feldman if he's healthy at all. So, you know, he's definitely, he could be a really good piece in this Rangers rotation.
Yeah, he could be a nice pickup for the price they got him at.
Yeah.
I think he has a boatload of potential winning a Cy Young a couple years ago, but he's not going to be ready for his first scheduled start. Okay, this guy, he just did a long toss session on Friday. I mean, and he could see the mound on Monday. This will be his first appearance in spring training. I don't think he's going to be ready for his first scheduled start on opening day.
Yeah, even if he is, they'll probably keep him down on extended spring training a little longer, or they might even send him to the minors. I'm not sure how his contracts work. Maybe they can't do that, but you can't really go out on the first start of your season after just pitching one appearance in spring training.
Yeah, I mean, being somewhat of a Diamondbacks fan, not that much, but I have no choice but to watch him. Seeing Brandon Webb a couple years ago, that guy was just a beast in that rotation. I just hope this guy's ready to play, because I miss him playing baseball. He was the ace of the Diamondbacks a few years back, but he's with the new home, and I want to see how well he does with these Rangers. On to Neftali Feliz, their closer. Is this guy in 2012, like Nolan Ryan said, going to be in the pitching rotation?
You know, I know there's a lot of good things about him. He has great stuff, but I mean, he was a pretty solid closer last season. So we'll have to see whether they do that. I mean, look at Jabba Chamberlain if you need an example of a guy that was solid in the bullpen. They tried to move him to the rotation, and now he can't even pitch in the bullpen, right? So, I mean, Neftali Feliz, for me, he's in the bullpen for this year. Just let him there. Let him be a solid closer. Let him get used to pitching a full season. He's got a great arm. I mean, this guy could be a beast. I think he will be, no matter if he's a starter or a reliever, but especially as a closer.
Yeah, I agree with Tim. I mean, I'm a huge fan of if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I mean, there's nothing they need to change about him. He's got boatloads of potential. So, I mean, I don't understand why you would move him to the rotation. Why, like, kill his arm or whatever? I just don't see any point in moving him from what he's good at.
Well, this spring training, I've seen Neftali Feliz have a couple of starts, a lot of good stuff. I don't know how he'd be in a full season as a starter, but in 2012, I can see it. Because, I mean, look at this pitching rotation of the Rangers. It's pretty awful. I mean, if you look at it, if they can bring in a guy like a Heath Bell to come in to close, I don't see why Neftali Feliz cannot be in this rotation.
Yeah, they might, if they can add a closer, but they could also add a starter, too, so we'll have to see.
That's what the deadline is for. On to their other key bullpen guys they have. Frank Francisco is gone. Darren O'Day is an option. How well will Darren O'Day do, this submarine pitcher?
I don't know a ton about Darren O'Day, like we say on the show occasionally. Looking at him, 6-2, 2.03 ERA, I mean, that's lights out of the bullpen. If he can continue that, he's a lefty specialist, I know that, and, you know, you're not asked to do too much except get the other team's big lefties out, and either you do it or you don't. There's not an in-between.
Yeah, and that's pretty much what I was going to say about Darren O'Day, because I also do not know a ton about this guy, but judging from his stats, he seems like a guy who's
Better than J.C. Romero.
Yeah, well, it doesn't take a lot to be better than J.C. Romero, but that's for a different video. But if you go 6-2 with a 2.03 ERA out of the bullpen, that's pretty freaking good. I mean, he's a great pitcher if that's the case. I've never even seen him pitch, and just judging by his stats, he seems to me like a great guy.
Alright. I absolutely love the Darren O'Day. This guy is one of the best setup guys in the game. He's been with the Angels. I do know a little bit about this guy. He's been with the Angels, been with the Mets, coming out of the University of Florida. He's one of the most solid setup guys in the league. I mean, this guy could even be the closer if Neftali goes to the rotation. He's just that good.
All right. So,
well, he is 40 years old, so I'm not sure if they'd move him, but yeah, that's an option.
Alright, so there's our
Wait,
pitching.
Darren O'Day?
No, my bad. That's Darren Oliver. My bad.
We also had Darren Oliver,
Looked
but
at the wrong guy.
that is our pitching review of the Texas Rangers. Stay tuned for part 2 of their hitting, the stacked hitting of this Texas Ranger squad. I'm Justin, that's Richard, and that's Tim and AC from the Cash Kelly and AC Sports Report. We'll talk to you guys later.